Commissioner Foff, you may begin.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I would like to call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. Welcome to the October 23rd, 2023 City of Burlingame Planning Commission meeting. For all in attendance today, please note that this Planning Commission meeting is being held in person and using the Zoom webinar format. This meeting is also being streamed live on YouTube and will be uploaded to the city's website. Recently, several cities in the Bay Area have experienced Zoom bombing at city council and commission meetings. City clerks from around the Bay Area have reported meetings being disrupted during public comment by individuals espousing disturbing comments. Therefore, out of an abundance of caution, the city has made the decision to no longer allow remote public comment during council and commission meetings. For the foreseeable future, we ask that the public either attend the meetings in person to comment or send an email to publiccomment@burlingame.org. Staff will be monitoring emails during the meeting, which will be read at the appropriate time. The length of the email comment should be commensurate with the 3 minutes customarily allowed for verbal comments. Roll call. The record should note that all 7 members of the commission are present this evening. Agenda item 3, request for AB 2249, remote participation. There are no commissioners participating remotely. Agenda item 4, approval of the minutes. We have the minutes to review and approve this meeting from October 10th, 2023, the regular Planning Commission meeting. Are there any comments, changes, discussion of minutes?
Just a comment. I wasn't at that meeting, but I watched the video.
Okay, thank you. Then may I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes as written.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right, moved by Commissioner Lowenthal, seconded by Commissioner Camerado. So can I have a roll call?
Yes, Commissioner Camerado,
Aye.
Commissioner Horan,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmid. Aye. Commissioner Shores,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
Aye.
Vice Chair Lowenthal.
Aye.
And Chair Foff.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Approval of the agenda. Staff, are there any changes to the agenda?
No, Madam Chair, no changes to the agenda.
Okay. Do we have any recusals? Nope, does not look that way. Agenda item 6, public comment, non-agenda. Wow, we have public here today. Members of the public may speak about any item not on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to suggest an item for a future planning commission agenda may do so during the public comment period. The Ralph Brown Act, state local agency open meeting law prohibits the planning commission from acting on any matter that is not on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Do we have any members of the public attending in person who would wish to speak on any item that is not on our agenda? Does not look that way. And did we receive any public comment emails?
No, I'm checking the public comment at burlingame.org inbox, and there are no emails that are not for agendized item.
All right, thank you very much. So seeing them, we're going to move on. That brings us to agenda item 7, study item. This is agenda 7A, 1200 to 1340 Bayshore Highway. As earlier, the city has made the decision to no longer allow remote public during planning commission meetings. If you are a member of the public and would like to comment on this project, please send an email to public comment, that's 2 C's, at burlingame.org. Your comment will be read aloud if it is received in time. So could we have the staff report, please?
Yes, thank you. I'm Catherine Keelan, Senior Planner, the Planning Division. I'm just going to give you a brief overview and a summary this evening. So the proposed project includes redevelopment of approximately a 12-acre site located on the east side of Bayshore Highway, comprising 1200 through 1340 Bayshore Highway. The project proposes the construction of 3 11-story office or R&D buildings totaling 1.4 million square feet with 2 new parking structures, 10 to 10.5 stories, with 2 levels of below grade parking. The center and south building would be combined for a total of 5,000 square feet of restaurant space. The project would provide a total of 3,400 parking spaces combined through the two parking structures. The city of Burlingame issued a notice of preparation on August 12th, 2022, stating that it would prepare an EIR for the proposed project in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act. An environmental scoping meeting was held before the Planning Commission on August 22nd, 2022, and public comments were provided to be studied in the EIR. On February 13th, 2023, there was a design review study meeting held before the Planning Commission. And on September 20th, 2023, the draft environmental impact report for the proposed development was released to the public. The Planning Division and the CEQA consultant, ESA, considered the comments made by the public in response to the NOP when preparing this draft environmental impact report. And those comments are provided as Appendix B in the draft EIR for your reference. CEQA requires a 45-day comment period for environmental impact reports. So this document is available for public comments through November 3rd, 2023. This evening is intended to be able to provide an opportunity for the public and affected agencies to comment on the draft environmental impact report pertaining to the overall adequacy of the environmental review and issues that may require further analysis. This meeting is not a hearing to consider approval of the project, nor is it a time to discuss the merits of the project. At the end of the public review period on the EIR, the consultant will prepare what's called a response to comments document, and that will include a response to all comments made by the public agent and the Planning Commission during this public review period. The response to comments document, together with the draft environmental impact report, constitutes the final environmental impact report for this project. Staff would note that the Planning Commission and the public will have future opportunities to comment on the merits of this project, as well as design at the action hearings. Once the final EIR is complete, the Planning Commission and City Council will hold public hearings, consider consideration of the EIR, and take final action on the project applications. There will be no presentation this evening by the applicant, as the intent of the meeting, as I noted, is to take public comments on the draft EIR. As a reminder, a motion and action is not required by the commission this evening. At this time, the Planning Commission should open the public hearing for public comments, and then upon the closing of public comments, the Planning Commission can provide their comments on the draft environmental impact report. Kelly Beggs is a contract planner with Good City Company, and Paul Mitchell is with ESA, the preparer of the CEQA document. They are both here this evening, along with staff, to answer any clarifying questions that you might have. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Very much.
And Chair, just before you do open the public comment, I wanted to introduce Ms. Christy Krell. She's our special counsel for this project. So she is essentially the city's attorney helping us guide us through this process. So she's here and available to answer questions as well. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Just to clarify, so this is not so back and forth with them necessarily. If I have a question, I should be asking you, or we at some point. Or
If there are clarifying questions
Oh.
regarding the CEQA document or the just the overall details of the project, we would be happy to do that. But tonight, we're not responding to any inquiries about the specific studies, or you can ask those so we can get them into the response to comments, and then that document would respond to all of those questions. And then at the next hearing, if you felt that the responses weren't sufficient or you had further questions, we can have dialogue at that time.
okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So,
I do have one clarifying question on the footnote on page 2 of the staff report about intersection function, that it's no longer part of the CEQA document. Where is it now evaluated?
That level of service, is that what you're talking about?
This is the intersection function.
Yes. So that, yes, we refer to that as level of service.
Mhm.
Previously, that was something that was looked at in CEQA and SB 743, then changed that analysis to what's called VMT. It's vehicle miles traveled. So that analysis is included now with the CEQA document. Public Works or Engineering Division does look at intersection functionality or level of service as part of their analysis and overall review of the project, but not within the scope of CEQA or the environmental review.
Okay.
I have a question. Sure. I think it may have been discussed in a previous meeting, but if the information is available, can you share with us the, sorry, can't see you. The projected timeline for the project and phasing?
The phasing is detailed in the project description, which I believe is in section 3. But we have, I believe, month projections, but there's not actual dates provided just because those are still in flux.
Months projections?
Yeah, so it would say like month, this month or quarter, this quarter or month 2, but there's not actual dates provided just because that is in flux.
Oh, okay, even as I thought there was in the presentation about different buildings being built or
Correct.
years or phases.
Yes, but it's not specific in terms of nailing down which, it doesn't say like calendar year. It just has their projections or their proposal for that. And that's something that will come before you for final decision when the project comes forward. Because there is also a development agreement that is part of the full entitlement package.
Okay, thank you.
So you tell me, you can shut me down if this is not, you're not the right person. Did I understand that there is, there's not voltaic, I don't know the right word, but voltaic piles or whatever on this project? Does this not have solar component?
I think we would have to defer to the applicant for the exact details on that.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, do you have, no? All right, so then I think I will open it to, right, am I doing this right? We're opening it to the public, yes? So anyone who's here who would like to speak about this, please come forward. Not all at once.
Interesting. Here for Jeff.
Maybe they're all here for Jesse. Wow. Okay. Then, yes.
Chair Pfaff, I just would like to note and just go on record that there were several comments provided. This document, as noted, was published on September 20th, and that he has received several letters. And I have forwarded those to you both in somewhere in the staff report. Some came to you via email this morning, and the email are the same ones that were up on the dais today. So I just want to note that there have been several comments that have been shared with the date so far.
I'm sorry, I should have acknowledged that I got both sets and these recent ones. So thank you very much.
We do have one email that was submitted through public comment at burlingame.org. So I can go ahead and read that. It starts, "Good evening, Planning Commissioners, Ms. Kalon and Planning Department staff. My name is Marhan Abudo, and I am speaking on behalf of LEUNA, the Laborers International Union of North America, Local Union 261, and its members living in and near the city of Burlingame regarding the project known as Peninsula Crossing. LEUNA is currently reviewing the project, and we anticipate sharing our findings regarding potential impacts to air quality, noise, and biological resources, as well as general consistency issues. LEUNA anticipates submitting timely comments with the independent expert reviews of our findings, and we have been working closely with the city and Ms. Keelan to obtain all relevant materials to perform a holistic review. Provided how comments are due next Friday on November 3rd, and we have not yet received information regarding the Phase 1 environmental site assessment, LEUNA respectfully requests an extension to the comment deadline in order to fully evaluate the project and any potential impacts. Looking ahead to future planning dates prior to approving the project, Leona hopes for the commission to take the time necessary to consider Leona's comments, review the potential impacts that would result from construction and operation of the project on surrounding sensitive communities, recognize the possible significant health risks posed to workers at the project, as well as prepare a CEQA document that assesses these potentially significant environmental effects. Thank you for considering these comments, and I look forward to hearing any updates during this evening's meeting. And this is signed my best, Marhan R. Rabuto from Lozio Drury LLP.
Thank you very much. So
That's the only email we have on this item.
we don't take any more Zoom or anything. So then the process is that I close the public hearing before we can, if anyone has anything to add, then I will close the public hearing. Okay, I'm going to go to my colleagues. No. Audrey, do you have anything to add? Anything?
Thank you for calling on me first. Where's my? I was trying to locate it where there is I'm assuming there'll be a shadow study on the public Bay Trail, especially in the public access spaces, and just
I did not, am I allowed to talk for, all right. I guess I will. I did see a shadow study. They are not, apparently not required to do a shadow study, but they did put one in for informational, and it's in this,
and there's
in this, in this thing, in there. It is in there.
It should be the 7th appendix.
In the pen,
For expert, 7th appendix. That's why my neck hurts.
the 7th appendix.
It's labeled SHDW.
While she's looking at that, maybe I can ask, looking for that, and maybe I can ask a couple of questions regarding, well, then I'm going to inquire about the solar, if that is not dealt with it. Can I say that?
Chair Pfaff, in referencing the attached climate action checklist, the applicant notes that the project does not include photovoltaic system, and it is not required for non-residential buildings with fewer than 3 stories. So, or more than 3 stories. So it
Okay.
sounds like it's not.
Did get comments about that, and so I just wanted to make sure that that was correct. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's per their application, and it's in your attachments.
Okay, good. And Commissioner Say, did you want to go on before I start on another?
Well, in past meetings, I've kind of accentuated and had concerns about kind of the pedestrian scale and the human scale of the use of the public spaces and access to the project site. But so I wanted to kind of call attention to it's Adrian Lee's letter that actually goes into great detail about I believe she's on the Transportation Commission or the
Yes,
maybe on the part, she's on one of our city commissions, and I did want to just highlight her letter and the items she's called out specifically on how to provide safe pedestrian travel and bicyclists, and noting some of the sizes and dimensions of some of the features that should be provided. So I just wanted to bring attention to that specifically, because to kind of go with my concerns in the past, the human relationship with this project site.
Thank you, Commissioner Say. So similarly, I have similar comments to many of our letter writers, but I'm not going to belabor those. I did have one specific item I just didn't understand. and that is with relation to vibration and what I call pile driving. And I read something in there about it was not, they may be using a different type of technique for the piers, and I couldn't understand it. So I was wondering if maybe doesn't have to be here, but if that could be looked into further in the final document, that would be great.
Commissioner Pfaff, did you want clarification on the process? Because I can point to the document, but I'm not, just to clarify, are you asking for more specific as
Yes.
to what these types of alternatives are and how they work? Or do you just want to know what they are?
I think both, if that,
Okay.
both, if that's possible. I mean, we all, I think the whole city is familiar with pile driving because we all live through it, and I'm an East Sider, so we hear a lot of it. Or we did, but I did recall in one of these multiple documents seeing reference to this but it didn't say they weren't going to do pile driving.
Okay, with permission, can I point to that section of the document? So it's in the noise section, which is page 4.11-14
Of
of
this,
these,
of
of the
this.
CEQA, yes, in your the hard copy of the CEQA document. Yeah, so section 4.11 is noise and vibration, and it would be page 14 of that section. Under impact analysis, the first paragraph says no pile driving or blasting activities are proposed during construction of the project. However, sheet piles would be installed using a drilled cast in place method, such as auger cast or torque down piles, or a vibratory hammer suspended from a crane for sheet piles comprising portions of the proposed seawall.
That's what I remember reading.
So-
And that's what I don't understand.
And if you
Maybe
like
vibration.
detail on that, we
I
can
would-
ask for details on how each of those might actually work in the field. Maybe the response to comments can provide just a summary of.
That would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Nothing more. Okay, then. All right, then do I close the public hearing? Is that? I want to thank everybody out there in wherever they are and who bothered to write a letter or pay attention to what's going on. I very much appreciate it. So thank you, and I'll close the public hearing, and that's it. So then I'm going to go back to my program here, because there's no action, right? So
I'll just add, Chair Pfaff, for members of the public, the deadline for comments is November 5th. So
November
we'll,
5th on the
or I'm sorry, November 3rd. I beg your pardon.
November 3rd for this topic, anything potentially dealing with the adequacy of the EIR document. Yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
So
Thank
we'll have comments.
And
There's
to Catherine, they
still
just
time.
send it to Catherine in some way. Thank you.
That's correct. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very. Okay, then we're going to go to, we're on, is that right? Consent calendar?
That is correct.
Like I'm kind of out here, but there are no consent calendar items for review. There are agenda item 9. There are also no regular action items for review this evening. That brings us to agenda item 10, design review item, which is item 10A for 201 Burlingame Avenue. As previously mentioned, the city has made the decision to no longer allow remote public comment during the planning commission meetings. If you are a member of the public and would like to comment on this project, please send an email to publiccomment@burlingame.org. Your comment will be read aloud if it is received in time. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communications regarding this project? We don't have anyone actually recusing, so we're good. Let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report, please?
Yes, the applicant is proposing to replace most of the existing dwelling and the detached garage at 201 Burlingame Avenue and build a new two-story single-unit dwelling and a one-car detached garage. The landscape plan on sheet LS.1 shows 3 proposed Japanese maple trees located in the front and side street side of the lot. Staff would note that a Japanese maple tree is a species that is no longer accepted as a landscape tree towards meeting the urban reforestation ordinance. Therefore, this species will need to be changed prior to the action meeting. 9 basket willow trees are to remain. Therefore, the project complies with the street reforestation ordinance requirements. All existing street trees along the Burlingame Avenue and Bancroft Road will remain. So in conclusion, the applicant is requesting design review for a new two-story dwelling, single-unit dwelling, and detached garage. The applicant is in attendance for questions, but first I'm available for questions of staff.
Okay, do we have any questions of staff?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Schmidt.
So if the 9 trees fulfill the forestation piece, why are we talking about the Japanese maple at all?
And I think that was just a clarification. So yeah, the Japanese maple would not be necessary for reforestation requirements. So
So if they want to put them in, they can put them.
they could still put,
Okay,
it just can't be counted as, just in case there was confusion. Somebody said, wait, a Japanese maple tree, we don't allow those. So we do, but not reforestation.
understood. Just wanted to make sure I understood
Yeah.
2 sentences.
Okay, very good. Then I'm going to open the public. These here in person.
Good evening, commissioners. I feel quite special today. Only one here. I'd like to thank you, Jesse Gersa from Gersa Conceptual Designs Incorporated. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to present this project to you. Unfortunately, my client couldn't be here tonight, so I'm representing them on behalf of them. Anyways, this was an existing kind of Burlingame bungalow house that was kind of dilapidated and so forth. And so my client had purchased the property in thoughts of redesigning it and building it for themselves. So what we have is basically a Spanish residence that kind of works well, I think, within the Burlingame Avenue area. We have a lot of Spanish houses there. So, it was a bungalow before, so we just kind of recreated it as a Spanish residence. The existing garage, we tore that down, made a nice garage for the property. The design is, I think, in keeping with the Burlingame style, and we're here to answer or I'm here to answer any questions you may have regarding the design for the project.
Okay, and do any of you have any questions?
I will change those trees. I forgot that the other ones weren't. We'll do the red maples. I think those are nice.
Super. I have just a quick question. What lot size?
The lot size, I think it's pretty small.
46, 40.
Yeah, it's small than 5, right? It's a little smaller than 5.
Yeah,
Got it.
Yeah.
I thought just
I always get the corner lots. I don't know what it is, but
sometimes, but sometimes they're big.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, lot is 46.
Okay, super. So none of you, yes.
Oh, yeah. Jesse, on the second floor, the windows on the Bancroft side, I think it's the left and on Bancroft. So you have windows over a bathtub, windows in the primary bathroom. They're fairly tall. Are they intended to be obscured glass or
Let's
they're 8.5?
upper level. These speakers aren't very good up here. It's really hard to hear.
Mine are on.
Is that just me or
No,
Oh,
no?
something going
I
on.
must be losing my hearing.
sorry.
Okay, so Audrey, where are we at again?
On 8.5,
A5?
yeah, A5.
Oh, okay, and
Yeah, so the second story windows facing Bancroft, right? This is on the Bancroft side. Sorry, I'm looking at the drawings and trying to talk into the mic at the same time. The upper floor windows, there's the center window there that's over the bathtub, and then to the right is a set of windows in the primary bathroom.
Right.
And those are, fairly private spaces, and assuming that those would be obscure glass.
I haven't spoke to them about that yet because generally it would put some, interior blinds of any sort, something like that. But at this point, they're not obscured or tempered, not tempered, but obscured or rain glass or anything.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I do have,
I was just going to ask if you could walk us through the demo plan. How much of the existing structure is saved?
Not much, just the existing foundation, the existing floor joists, and some outer walls. Two, barely any.
So you'll be able to reuse the existing foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, we checked it out. It's in good condition.
Thanks.
I have a question. So I'm looking at the Burlingame Avenue elevation. And I'm looking at so the gable, well, the right-hand side, the second story, the roof, maybe it doesn't bother anyone but me, but the roof, the gable part on the right-hand side kind of looks like truncated. And I was wondering if you had,
I'm sorry, Commissioner Pfaff. I'm really having a hard time hearing.
I wish I could show it to you, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, got it.
A4, and it's the upper drawing, and everything's looking kind of nice and together. And then as I'm looking at the middle to the right, so you've got you have the Juliet. Actually, I don't even know if it's Juliet or not, but you have a balcony on the top, and then you have a similar window below, but a regular window with a little. So maybe it's just me. I was just wondering, have you thought of a different way to resolve the roof? So it's not a symmetrical roof. It's truncated about halfway through on the right-hand side. And I was wondering if you thought about another solution to that somehow to make it look more, it's a very symmetrical section of the house. And
because if you're looking at the front elevation, the left side goes down further.
that
was by design. It was more like kind of an asymmetrical look to it. Yeah, and we're centering, naturally the room is centered on the room below, and so the windows cascade down to center line. And so the left hand is just more of a asymmetrical feature that is pretty, there's a lot of common designs in San Mateo Park that are kind of similar in that fashion. So it was trying to get away from just being all gables and just a little bit of decorative source.
Oh, that's okay. Did you consider then in that case, if you like that look, did you maybe consider on the left-hand side, maybe being more deliberate about it? So you made a decision on the right to make it shorter, like a shorter. gable
Yeah, I think I could maybe
down?
cut that back to the center of that decorative feature that I have to make it a little shorter. So it's not as long. Is that kind of what we're looking at?
Or the opposite, that the one on the left-hand side on the closer to the door, the upper gable goes maybe a little further.
Yeah, I can't do anything with the right side gable or naturally it ends at the wall. So, and I'm at the declining height envelope restriction.
Got it. Okay. It was just a comment, like a question. Okay, thank you. I think that was it for,
Okay, then I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
continue on that one.
all right.
So I understand it and I'm fine with the way the offset on that elevation works. But I'm noticing on the left side, as it continues, the plan kind of shows the room and where the room ends and not the continuation of that wall that comes down. Does it step back or does it continue in the same plane?
No, it protrudes out. Let me see. It should protrude. Yeah, it protrudes out. Yeah. So if you look at sheet A2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you see the bedroom number 2,
Yes.
and then you see how it juts out or it pops out 1 foot, 2.5.
Right, but does that? So are the surface on either side of column line 3 in the same plane, or does it go back into the page?
It goes back. Yeah. So that's why that roof comes down. I see what you're saying. So yeah, I mean, there should be a longer wall line that comes down to support that.
Yes,
You come down. Yeah,
so
it-
it's
so-
probably just a missed wall.
yeah, exactly.
Continues.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, because naturally, when that wall extends down, it gets right.
Okay, makes
I
me,
get it. I just wanted to see where the wall was.
Yeah, gotcha.
Right.
okay, great.
Yeah, because there is a wall underneath it.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. So then I'm going to ask the public, anyone in attendance? No, not
That's it.
attendants who want to comment. So were any no, and were any emails received about this?
Yeah,
item?
yes, we do have one.
Okay.
It reads, Dear Planning Commission, this is Fernando Correa, owner and resident of home at 2111 Burlingame Avenue. The 201 Burlingame Avenue address is directly adjacent to our house. Our family have 2 comments, questions. A, we have 2 newborns, 4 months old, and are concerned about the debris the construction could generate. We would like to know if the 201 Burlingame owners are conducting any inspection of the house for hazardous materials such as lead, asbestos, etc., before initiating the construction, and will they provide a report? What precautions are they planning to take to restrict construction debris of impacting their neighbors? And how will the city ensure protocols are followed? B, are they planning to make any changes to the fence between our houses? If yes, could they provide a detailed description of the changes? Please let me know if you have any questions. Looking forward to hearing from you. Thanks for your time and consideration. Signed, Fernando.
Thank you, Fernando, for writing. Are there any other? Nope. All right, then I'm going to close the public hearing. Colleagues,
I'll go.
okay,
So overall, I like the design, I think it's good. I really didn't have any comments until Commissioner Say said something. I'm just thinking the 2 bathroom windows up there, you might want to consider whether they really want to go down that low. They look like darn near doors, given the verticality. I wouldn't want my windows that low. So I'm not saying it's a must. I'm just thinking it's a good conversation to rehab with the client. But otherwise, I'm in support of the project.
Oh, yes, Commissioner Schmidt jumped to the. I was going to get right to that same point, that, if it wasn't going to be planned for obscure glass windows and they were going to be clear glass windows, so you could put window treatment on them, but I think it would feel better for the occupants if those windows were shorter and felt a little bit more privatized. I feel like some of that, the height of those windows as well, even if it wasn't in a private space, it kind of seems like there should be a little bit of hierarchy of the windows on the main floor versus the windows on the second floor, kind of like how you did on the interior side elevation. There was a little bit more change in sizes of windows upstairs, and feel that appropriately this kind of calls for that on this side as well, especially with a street facade. And then back to the item, the front elevation with the asymmetrical roof line, I fully understand that the design direction you have there. I'm trying to get to the ring again. Don't know if there's anything, I know, Jesse, you're always so creative with all these architectural details and such, but if there might be some kind of design element, or something that pops out there, or there's some kind of change of something, maybe it's a curve instead of a straight asymmetrical roof. I don't know. It just seems like you know, it's a deliberate design feature. And I almost wonder if it could even be taken to the next level with a little bit more either decoration or profile of the roof, a little curvature or something. Or even if you can take the tiles off the roof and treat it like you do on the right side of the house where you have the right side of the front elevation. Anyway, obviously you're very good at designing these details, but I just feel like something is asking for a little bit more attention there because you've drawn attention to it with the asymmetrical roof. But anyway, didn't mean to comment directly to you. This is comments amongst us. And but otherwise a really beautiful design and great job.
I actually love her idea. And you're very clever. I love and what she just mentioned. That's something's so bugged me. It looks just chopped off, but maybe a little nail, something up there that balances it because you did call attention to it. Very clever with, you know, something that right there where it's truncated kind of a thing. So could be very cool. So I really like this house and with respect to the individual or individuals who wrote the message, I think that is all those issues you're really good about. I think that will all be taken care of by the city as far as, right, permit issues and things with talk.
That's correct. Yeah, I did want to kind of follow up on that, particularly if they're watching at home. The building permit does address the various issues related to both demolition and making sure that debris are handled responsibly and disposed of correctly. And then also during construction, the control of debris. Our inspectors are there and they do regular inspections. But of course, if something comes to the attention of the neighbor, they can call the building department as well, and we can send out an inspector if it's not something that's already scheduled.
It's great. So
I can't speak to the fence, so I would
Yeah.
advise the applicant if you want to get in touch with the neighbor to
Mhm.
discuss whatever fence issue there may be.
And Jesse is he's a local East Sider. He's responsible. Put that in there. So anyway, he's a good neighbor. So, all right. Thank you. And so I guess oh, yes, Commissioner Como.
So Jesse, I was also thinking the same thing on this front elevation, and I was wondering, actually, could you bring that chimney flue up a little bit? I mean, maybe that's what causing this concentration where our eye goes right to that truncated area there. I'm not quite sure if that could resolve it, but I feel like maybe that just needs to be extended a little bit further up. I don't know. It's just an option. But I agree with my fellow. Yeah, so it goes kind of goes up a little bit more, so it doesn't feel like it's just cuts off right there. Yes.
Yeah, I like the house overall.
Mhm.
I think what might be throwing some people off a little bit is that the angles of the roof that's being cut off is exactly the same as the higher peak behind it, which is full, kind of goes all the way a little bit. So
Mhm.
maybe if those angles were a little bit different, that would kind of set it apart a little bit. I'm okay with it as it is, and we've had other comments on how to address that. I had some comments myself, just very briefly on the terracotta tiles at the crawl space level. I haven't seen that a whole lot on the style of house generally, which is fine because we don't have any kind of strict requirements for that. But I think there's a reason for that, which is that if I was a homeowner and I had those on the inside and backyard side of my house, I think that those vents, because of the way they protrude, might last a few years before they get knocked off by like a hose rack or like a kid or something like that. There are a whole bunch of alternative designs for terracotta tiles that are used all the time in these buildings. There are little square ones that are flush with the wall that have a design cut in them. There are lots of options, but I would personally recommend that a flush design be used at the crawl space fence. I wouldn't be that concerned about it if it was just on the Bancroft Way and Burlingame side, which are going to be covered by plant, but that's also on the west side of the building, the interior side. So just something to, it's not a deal breaker for me.
Okay, great. Is that it? It? No, no more? So then I guess I'm in for motion.
Make a motion that we bring it back on action as for the staff report.
Second the motion?
All right, motion made by Commissioner Schmidt, seconded by Commissioner Tsay. May I have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Camerado,
Aye.
Commissioner Horan,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmid,
Aye.
Commissioner Shores.
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
Aye.
Vice Chair Lowenthal,
Aye.
and Chair Fa.
Aye, and so this action is not appealable. All right, thank you very much. Moving along. Commissioners' reports. Are there any commissioner reports? No, all right. And then we've got director's report, please.
There's no FYIs. I will report on the last council meeting. There were two items that might be of interest to the planning commission. The first was a presentation from One Shoreline on sea level rise adaptation. A study that they've been doing with a few different alternatives that will ultimately form an environmental impact review or report to look at different alternatives. But it's interesting. One of the alternatives looks very similar to the standards you're used to seeing on the Bayfront projects with
Aye.
the sort of levies increased and what have you. There's another one that puts an offshore barrier out, which is kind of a radical idea, but has some interesting merits. So there is a report and also you can watch the video. The other item that came up was, and if you looked at today's Daily Journal, there is the leaf blower phase out for gas powered leaf blowers in Burlingame. They will be mandated to be replaced with electric in the future, and that's both for noise, but also air quality. The gas blowers in particular are really bad for pollution. So the council made a decision to phase them out next year.
All right,
As of January 1st?
Sorry?
Is it as of January 1st?
I think it was, I'm trying to remember, I think it's summer. There is a change January 1st where I believe the gas powered ones cannot be sold in the state anymore. But we are, the council wanted to give enough kind of warning and lead up time for particularly contractors to replace their equipment and take some time to do that.
how are then individuals expected then to tell their gardeners you can't use?
It could either be the homeowner, if they have a gardener, they should advise the gardener to use the electric blowers starting in the summer. It was discussed, some homeowners may just want to buy them themselves to have for their crews in case they're concerned the crew may not have them. But also this is, I don't think Burlingame is unique in this. So I think anyone involved in landscaping is probably familiar with where this is going and has, probably will not be surprised.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. And finally, agenda item 13, future agenda items. Are there any future agenda items? No. Okay, then this meeting, wow, it adjourned at 7:47. Thank you. Thank you very much.